We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity.
We know the air is unfit to breathe and our food is unfit to eat. As if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy.
Silence! The great and powerful Oz knows why you have come.
You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
You have meddled with the primal forces of nature.
Don't give yourselves to brutes. Men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, or what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts.
With Jason Bermas.
And who loves you? And who do you love?
Good morning. It is Reality Rants. I am Jason Bermas. You can find it over at redvoicemedia.com. You can support at redvoicemedia.com/uncensored. And we're starting the show today with a little front man action. Now, when we talk about agendas and the real players of these agendas, you have to look at first of all, one of the best references is the book Propaganda by Edward Bernays, the godfather not only of propaganda, but the other term, public relations, which really is just really shifting the language. It's semantics, right? When we're talking about propaganda and we're talking about public relations, they're about the same thing. So a lot of people believe that, or it's portrayed that, everything that is propaganda is bad. That's not always the case. Sometimes propaganda can actually be good because you're playing up the good values or the good things this product or idea can provide. Okay? And in turn, the negative aspects are very marginal or have been explained or are accepted as part of this. Okay? Now, bad propaganda is when they project all the positive things there, but the negative things are really the goal, and it's an ulterior motive. Okay? And so when I reference that book in particular, in the very beginning, and I put this in Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, he goes into slight, not super detail, but slight detail, how the people that actually run the country and the world are people you've probably never heard of before. And there are front men promoting their agendas. Elon Musk is one of the most outward, over-the-top front men constructs out there. Okay? Elon's Take Your Son to Work Day. Tesla billionaire Musk meets Hungarian president at the new Texas Gigafactory as they discuss how having children is saving the world, with one of the 11 children he has fathered. And that's great that he's having kids. And that's the thing that they've sold you on. They've sold you on this guy who's pro-human in a world where they're telling you to have less kids, etc. They're selling you on a guy that's pro-free speech by letting you have not even your free speech really back on Twitter, the illusion of free speech back on Twitter, and really the same amplifications of things that are strictly in the right or conservative wing and things that are in the left progressive wing. I mean, that's pretty much all you get, right? That it's amplified in any way, shape, or form. There are those that have been able to carve out an audience through that and change it up a bit, and they've been vilified and demonized for it, Jimmy Dore in particular, right? But his reach would be through the roof if the algorithm was fair. So, once again, you got Musk with his son on top. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know what kind of a father Elon Musk is. I don't. I'm not on the inside. I can't imagine what it's like. But I can tell you this. Elon Musk is not running a half a dozen plus companies. That's not real. He's a front. I mean, look at this picture right here. We played the video. We're going to play it again because it's so over the top. We played the video of Eric Adams. Look, there's another actor in the background, James Corden. Eric Adams. Look at this outfit. Look at this outfit. Like that's the mayor of New York City. I know there's a lot of Gotham jokes out there. In particular, they were out there for the mayor of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot. Well deserved, but come on. Look at these outfits. These clown suits. They're clown suits. Right? And just like that, Eric Adams is a front man. He's a NYPD cop that had played ball with the big guys quite a bit over the years, that the people in power and control approached and said, hey man, how about you be the mayor of New York City? How would you like that? That'd be great for your family. Better than not doing it and leaving it in somebody else's hands. And Eric Adams was corrupt enough and vapid enough that he would take that position and then just echo whatever talking point they gave him. And he did. Think about this. In the beginning of the migrant crisis, right, that doesn't exist or it does exist, or, depending on which way the wind blows and what fact checker's talking to you. But let's be honest, the current puppet in chief really did tell people to surge the border. Michael Yon and others are on the border, and that's really happening. So what else is really happening is, and here's the left-right game again, the front man game, is that Greg Abbott busts a bunch of these people right into New York City, right into the heart of New York City. And then Eric Adams, 2 years later, says now it's a crisis, even though he was the open arms guy and the in this house. I went and saw Tim Dillon the other night. He talked about the sign, in this house. Yeah, you remember what happened in this house when like a couple hundred people showed up to the rich neighborhoods? They're out of there in under 48 hours. It's never discussed again in the media. Ever. Ever, 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 ever. So now Eric Adams has a talking point for the disaster, and he's blaming the right, yada, yada, yada. It's ridiculous. Meanwhile, what's happening? Real destabilization on purpose. And it's more than the destabilization that people would normally come with criticism of people coming over the border illegally. The big one is, I believe, the projection that these people, and not that they would necessarily, but the projection that they would vote Democrat because they would be the beneficiaries financially of many of the programs the Democrats have put into place via housing and food and monetary assistance. You understand what I'm saying? So with that, again, it's a front idea. With that, ballot harvesting, et cetera, because they're going to let them vote. There's no audits of any votes anymore. And then they're going to say they didn't vote. like they've said now. But then later on, they'll say, well, they deserve to vote anyway. And a lot of these people won't be voting at all. I want to make that extremely clear. Extremely clear. Like, they're not going to be voting. That's it's absurd. But the illusion that they voted is all they need. So that's another part of the destabilization. So here you go. I mean, the Musker nuts out there. 11. I guess it's easy to have 11 kids when you're like a billionaire. And by the way, what is my view on Musk? Like, how far is he really involved? I think that this guy's a venture capitalist. I think he's an intelligent guy that worked with the system for quite some time, very cunning, and then got in with the right people via Michael Griffin and a construct they made. Okay? A construct they made. So much so that, in the past I've discussed how he's cameoed in a bunch of things, from Iron Man as the benevolent billionaire, right? Across from Tony Stark. They got to sell you on the benevolent billionaire. Batman, the benevolent billionaire. You ever think about that? Batman's not really the superhero without any powers. His power, he's got billions of dollars. He knows what's best for you. He's your savior. He fights bad guys. A lot of people get upset or don't want to make that connection because they're so into Batman. Like, honestly, the everyman they had in comic books, and that's DC, it's Spider-Man. It's the guy who is on the beat. He's part of the fourth estate in journalism. He's, working for a living, in love, loses a love, in apartments, loses not only his parents, but his uncle. I know that that's like the trope in the story of the loss in order to become a hero. But Spider-Man is really the everyman. Batman is the benevolent billionaire. Iron Man is the benevolent billionaire. And by the way, the Iron Man movies, they're pretty damn good. I don't want to knock them. I mean, by the third one, where you've got Ben Kingsley, who I watched as a kid in the film Gandhi, who did a just amazing job, and Kingsley in dozens of other things, one of the best character actors of all time. When Ben Kingsley is playing a Bin Laden type character, that when they pull back the curtain, he's just an actor. I was like, wow, that's bold that they're doing that. But at the same time, Hollyweird is complicated. And you're going to get things pushed in there. And pushing Musk, the Musker nuts. It's 100%. The Musker nuts in Rick and Morty. Okay? One of the most popular cartoons, if not the most popular cartoon of this generation. In fact, I'd go as far as to say that's 100% correct. That Rick and Morty, as far as adult cartoons go, is the most popular thing in this generation. And they brought him in as Elon Tusk. And Rick Sanchez is just a dick to him the entire time. It works comedically. But again, subliminally, you feel for the guy. He's a total front. He's not brilliant. He's a smart guy. Okay? But, I watch NASA television probably more than most human beings on the planet. I would be hard-pressed to think that anybody watches more NASA TV than I do that's not, like, involved in NASA or wants to work for NASA later. It's me. And I'm telling you, hands down, it's imagination. You should see the propaganda you see for this Artemis thing. It's shot so well. It looks like Hollywood. It's the woman in the suit. Because, again, it matters that not only we're going back to the moon, but it's going to be the first woman and the first person of color on the moon. It's not rockets a go-go, guys. Rockets are dangerous. They're telling you it's 250,000 miles away. It's a 500 million mile round trip. That doesn't even count the times that it circles the Earth in the atmosphere to slingshot up. Just think about that for a second. And they're telling you they're communicating with it all the way there. It's a little far-fetched, everybody. That's all I'm going to say. It's a little far-fetched. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. Thumbs it up, subscribe, and share. We'll be back after this.
We interrupt today's programming to bring unfortunate news. Biden's dangerous plan for a digital dollar is underway. Don't be fooled. It won't benefit you. So take action now. The Federal Reserve's phased deployment of FedNow began on July 1st, 2023. Be prepared. This may catch many off guard and put your hard-earned assets in jeopardy. But here's the good news. There's a simple legal tax loophole to opt out of the digital dollar. Speak to someone at American Alternative Assets for a free wealth protection guide and discover how to safeguard your wealth with gold and silver IRAs against a failing dollar and volatile markets. Dial 833, the number 2 USA Gold. Yes, call now, 833-287-2465. This invaluable guide provides precise steps to transfer your IRA or 401k into precious metals without any tax consequences. Don't let Biden force you into using the government's new digital dollar. Call 833, the number 2 USA Gold. Yes, call now, 833-287-2465. Act swiftly, 833-287-2465.
We are back, and when we're talking frontmen, let's talk Eric Adams as well, because that I keep going back to this pic, but it's just so ridiculous. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Hey, Muskaroo, how you doing? Good to see you, Eric. So one of the many things that Musk has been a front for is robotics. Okay, and not only Neuralink, which has the FDA approval, which is another big push for transhumanism from a guy that wants you to have kids. He wants you to, at the same time, he's ready to give you that $15,000 tiny home that Tesla produces. And he's such a threat to the establishment that they propped him up for years via subsidies on Tesla. And that brings me to the current thing, human robotics or humanoid robotics. In other words, robotic beings that resemble humans. It's something out of remember those fanboy posters that were old school airbrushes? Man, I'm dating myself, but not really. I mean, look how gray I am. Somebody was asking me the other day, on my other show, it appears that I'm less gray. That's usually because of the backdrop. Because right here, we got a light backdrop, dark backdrop over there. It kind of blends it. And every once in a while here, I don't gel up my hair. And then you can really see how old I am. But I'm rambling. It is Reality Rants, not Reality Rambles. Airbrush. That was the big cool thing. That was, in fact, I believe, man, it's so long ago. I'm pretty sure I got one via graduating one of my grades, probably like 10th or 11th grade, because that's when I was really into it. It's like pre-Photoshop, and people would do these beautiful airbrush paintings of sexy robots, right? And at the time, none of this was like AI or computer generated. Everything was done by hand. They normally didn't have actual human faces, but I mean, I'm going to do it off air live, because who knows what we're going to find if I type in sexy robot. He's typing in sexy robots. And airbrush. And I'll even type in 80s, because that's where it was big. Boom. Perfect. All right. Nothing nasty. Good. Because we keep the safe search off, because that just lends another thing. Now here, this is much later. That's definitely not one of the 80s ones, but a lot of these are very, very 80s. That's very, very 80s. In fact, sexy robot, Monroe 1980s, Hajime Sorayama. I mean, some of these things are way, way over the top, but It's still drawings. It's still robots. Anyway, Muskie, old Muskaruski, he's got Optimus. In fact, let's do that live. Let's do it live. By the way, I kind of want to get some questions and comments from y'all in the YouTube chat before we go to the second hour over at rvmrumble.com. So keep that in mind. And I'm not promising, but if you got a question or comment, please, I'm going to go back up to the top. Consider throwing it in there. So let's see. Optimus. Gave me Optimus Prime. Robot Tesla. Okay. And there we go. Now, I want people to understand. Now, this is what they want it to look like. The Tesla bot. We've done the presentations. This is what it currently looks like. And that's like on a mount. And, he's imploring people to come in and work on it. Those who've worked on Android. Same thing with Neuralink. These are all going to be based on mobile operating systems. All right? But let's be honest. These things don't need to be shaped like humans other than what? To assimilate us to them. Another front deal. And also assimilate us to automation. And the thing about assimilating us to automation is we're also acquiescing to robotic policing, which is extremely dangerous. Again, a human being, as imperfect as they may be, has a thing called empathy most of the time. Looks at another human, hopefully, as a human. Can be reasoned with at times. Robots are programmed. They cannot be, quote unquote, reasoned with. And the other thing is, when you look at this, the robots now can't protect you. Even though, the Eric Adams double-size R2-D2 bot is there for surveillance. It can't protect you. But even scarier when it can protect you. And these things get armed. So here's frontman Eric Adams. Really projecting several agendas here. Again, this wasn't his idea. First agenda. Robot police force. Robot police force. Robot police force. That's what all this defunding of the police was about. Go back to when that started. Go back to some golden Bermas. And I told you right away, they're going to bring in robot police. Because this thing that's roaming around the subways now, and God, I can't imagine what it's going to be like being in New York City and going through the subway the next time I do it. Maybe, who knows? Maybe it never happens, but I can't imagine that. You always get like a surprise trip. Ridiculous. It's just going to be bizarro world. So you've got that. Okay, you've got the policing. Then you also have the automation aspect of it. Surveillance, policing, automation, not armed yet. So in no way can it help you. And even when it is armed, what kind of mistakes is it going to make, etc. And then just getting rid of humans in general, not just from the police force. Replacing human beings. And then the other thing is, how you're going to own nothing? The city owns nothing. They're leasing these. They're leasing these at $9 an hour. So 24-hour rotation on this thing. And I don't know how long it's battery operated to last and it gets replaced. But I'm sure, again, he brags that it's not going to take a break. It doesn't have to go to the bathroom. It doesn't have to eat. Yeah. It's not human. I get it. I get it, Eric. But $9 an hour. So let's see. Every single day, 20, 36, about $2.16 a day for that. $2.16 a day for robots. For one robot. Well, that's super cheap in New York City. Yeah, it's going to cut humans out of labor. That's what it's going to do. I don't know what you don't understand about that. Now, earlier we talked about Iron Man and the way they've propped this guy. Remember, Time Man of the Year? that they propped the Muskernuts up. And now, apparently, I haven't watched the show yet. And I used to be such a Star Wars geek. And admittedly, what I watched, the first season of The Mandalorian, pretty good. And they brought Bill Burr into it. I love Bill Burr. It's actually pretty good. Fell off on that. I'm sure I can catch up on that. But now they've got, Ahsoka? I don't want to mispronounce it. But it's, one of these other Jedis that they're focusing on. So, Ahsoka. Oh, look at that. See, look at the green screen bleeding through. Excuse me for 1 second, everybody. Can't allow that. Can't allow the production value to go down. They've got this character they've just introduced that looks a lot like the Muskernuts. Okay, and I don't know. It's Thrawn. Now, apparently, it's a villain, so now the media is like turning on him. But honestly, in his circles, it's only going to make him bigger. So he's still, and it's not Musk, but obviously the resemblance is there. So now the weird thing that they're doing with Musk, still a front man for all these things. Because I think they understand their narrative, their great narrative they're pushing is so out of control. There has to be a counterbalance somehow. One, it keeps them in the public eye. Number two, they look at that and they say, oh, he is being demonized, yada, yada, yada. He'll still get all, believe me, if he was being demonized, he wouldn't be cutting contracts with the U.S. military-industrial complex. And again, if you believe that he's able to just turn off Starlink, he just turned it off over in the Ukraine-Russia conflict. I mean, come on. I mean, is he wearing like the Admiral outfit for real? Admiral Musk. No. Leslie Stahl style. No. So they're not really hurting him, because if they wanted to hurt him overnight, he would be hurt. Overnight. Declare him a national security threat, nationalize Starlink, but they don't want to do that because they want you to buy into Starlink. That into your own slavery. You get it? Do you understand? Good. I've got quite a bit of stories to go through. Like I said, I do kind of want to get to your questions and comments. What are we going to do here? We're going to ask you to thumbs it up, subscribe, and share. Then we're going to come down here and we're going to get rid of that. And we are going to go to your questions and comments. Johnny Mnemonic, it's not him playing Admiral Thrawn, but you get the picture. We just went over it. Let's see. The fighter that donated $5,000 to Lahaina, Maui victims, did a good deed. He's talking about Bryce Mitchell, tough fought battle with Dan Ige. Bryce, he's a bit of an emotional roller coaster, excellent fighter, smart kid, religious guy. Don't agree with, he's in this Flat Earth documentary. Guys, I watch enough of the NASA footage stuff that I don't believe that all of it is fake. There's just so much stuff out there that people haven't seen. I know that some of it is. They talk about the wires and this and that absolutely is there. The green screen stuff, absolutely there. I do believe in an ISS. I do believe things can orbit the planet. That's just me. I know. And people, I get this sometimes. You haven't really looked into it. Of course I have. Of course, I've been bombarded by it. I've seen all the documentaries on it. I've seen the arguments, etc., etc. I've seen the other explanations. And guess what? Sorry, guys, I'm still sticking round. I know people are pissed. They're pissed. Really pissed with me. Boy, how dare you, Jason? Let's see. Seems like another actor in a role. Yeah, a lot of these guys. We're going to be talking a little bit later about somebody who's not acting and is really a part of the mix. He's not a front man for the agenda. He's a mouthpiece for the agenda. He's actively working for the agenda. And, he's an outward vile villain for the agenda, in my opinion. And that would be L. Gatesy Do. The Bill Gateson. Got plenty of Gates clips coming up. May save them for the second hour just because I don't want to get too frisky. We got to go to a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to stick to your comments and questions. Thumbs it up, subscribe, and share. Much more later on. We're going to be talking to the CIA, paying off some analysts. We're saying some things, and a whole lot more. It is Reality Rants.
When I invented My Pillow, my passion was to help each and every one of you. And 20 years later, all of your support is what keeps us going. Because of you, we've been able to create thousands of USA jobs and help millions get the best sleep ever. To thank you, my employees and I are bringing you a limited edition My Pillow. The Giza Elegance My Pillow is made with my patented adjustable fill, the most amazing cotton, and a 2-inch pipe gusset. It has 4 custom loft levels, machine washable and dryable, and you get my 60-day money-back guarantee and 10-year warranty.
Go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get your limited edition 20th anniversary My Pillow queen size. Retails for $69.98, now only $19.98. That's right, get a queen size My Pillow for only $19.98.
From all of us here at My Pillow,
which never sleeps. It turns out neither do these new police robots you see when they're on your screen. It's called K5. It's soon going to start patrolling the city's busiest subway stations overnight to try and keep New Yorkers safe. Mayor Eric Adams insists it is cost effective. Listen.
We're not buying, we're leasing. $9 an hour. $9 an hour. This is below minimum wage. No bathroom breaks, no meal breaks.
Look how smiley I can't get over the smiles. Had to start with this before we go to your questions and comments. Didn't play it last segment. Promised I'd play it last segment. Got off on a rant.
This is a good investment.
No bathroom breaks. That's something. Let's hope they work better than the food delivery robots.
So let's see. We got artificial intelligence, RoboCop. How far could we be from Terminator?
Not terribly far.
I hope we're far. Hey, thanks for.
No, we've had that stuff. It's in the sky. It's not Schwarzenegger. No, Optimus is that next step. You understand? They're step by step, day by day, getting you used to that. Not that far indeed. All right. Let's my thing stopped working, so you gotta give me a second here. Of course. Right in the middle of it, want to do stuff, and then boom, doesn't want to do it. But that's okay, because we're gonna make it all happen. It's gonna happen. I believe in miracles, everybody. Let's see. Let's try it again. Nope, not quite there. I guess I could just hit this, and that works. Of course, that works right now. Well, we'll see. Oh, we got backups among backups. Just nutty. Nutty McNutty. All right, let's keep going. Let's see. Yes, we got the morning stuff for everybody. Like 9/11, the Maui fiasco is becoming a self-evident conspiracy. Yeah, it's not being covered, though. And you see what happened in Maui. And you see the loss of life, and you see the loss of children's lives. And that should be all you need to know about what scumbags the people at the top are. Not only lying to you about the events of which took place, the sirens not going off, people being blocked in, the kids being sent home, etc., but not acknowledging the massive amount of child life lost. Massive. We're talking about thousands of people dead. And what it was in the news cycle for a week? A week tops? Shame. For shame. Let's see. Just saw this. Good morning. Good morning, Jan. Always good to see you in there. Just like the alphabet people, the elites have 100 agendas. Oh, you've got jokes. Santa was an okay propaganda. That's a good point. Yeah, like there was a magical man coming down chimneys based on a saint. And look, there Coca-Cola really popularized Santa Claus. Became kind of a mascot for Coca-Cola. But at the same time, I've read the books that correlate Santa Claus with Satan. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know, Davey. I have no clue. I've read those books, and again, the resemblances are there. The elves, the demons, the red. Up to interpretation, I guess. Bastardizing Christmas, pagan religions. Remember, before Saint Nick or Santa Claus, you had the Krampus. Krampus made a big comeback eventually. Got his own movie and everything. Several movies, really. A lot of B movies, but at least one made it to the theaters, right? Let's see. Coffee Time, yes. Bechtel comes to mind. Not a great company. They did some bad things down in South America. Let's see. Brain chipping sounds neat. Oh, it's neat, all right. Let's see. Let's talk about Elon's kids digging up the cobalt out of the earth with their hands. Yeah, let's talk about that. Okay, let's just type in cobalt mines. Okay, let's see. Yep, here we go. Now, I didn't even type in children. But that doesn't look like a grown man to me. Electric cars, toxic minerals. I mean, those are, what, 10, 12-year-olds, 14 max. But this is okay. This is going to save the earth. You understand? This is going to fight climate change. See, the little guys are sacrificing to fight climate change, everybody. So Bill Gates thinks this is great. He just wants to make sure that they also get a little biggity bobbity boogity boogity while they're doing it. And by a little, I mean a whole lot. A whole lot. For grown men. I mean, it looks like something out of a period piece during ancient civilizations via slave labor. Nope. Modern times. Modern times for your nice EV. It's good stuff. Subsidized by our taxpayer dollars. Yeah. Woo! Woo! Let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. Let's see. I don't know about anybody's CC button. What do we got? By the way, are any of Elon's children mulatto? No, because all his breeders are also Nazis. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know that. I don't know his past relationships. No clue. No clue. It's amazing how people are fooled just because a guy does a bit of scripted sales tactics. That is correct. Musk just got the okay to chip 10 people's brains. Yeah, a bunch of people volunteered. In fact, let's do that one live. Musk approval for brain chip. Let's see. 7 days ago, there's the recruit. Okay. And here it is. And by the way, I was thinking about this last night for some reason. But like, can you imagine you letting a robot do brain surgery on you to put this thing in? I was thinking how dystopic that is. Like, I remember as a kid going to the mall and seeing people get their ears pierced. Being like, oh, now it's the brain surgery station kiosk. Come on in. And you're going to let a machine put a brain chip in you. No bueno. Oh, but Jason, what happens when it has the latest video games? Yeah. Let's see. Boom. Elon Musk Neuralink receives FDA nod. Yes, that's a video from Daily Motion. Yeah, we got that. I don't know. I don't know if they've picked the 10 yet. You'd have to send that to me. But I knew the human trials were going to start. We definitely played that on the program. All right, let's continue on. Thumbs it up, subscribe, and share, everybody. Remember, second hour is over at rvmrumble.com. Let's see. We still have grown men wearing black dresses dictating sentences on the taxpayers. We call them judges. Hooah! Quite the shite show here in Canada. You betcha. I mean, we briefly, this one did. It would have been hard for it not to take the world by storm. But I mean, did you see this 98-year-old man and the send-off for him? I mean, it was a real send-off.
We have here in the chamber today Ukrainian Canadian world veteran from the Second World War who fought the Ukrainian independence against the Russians and continues to support the troops today, even at his age of 98.
Look at the smile. Look at this. We didn't play the video yesterday. But wait, let's zoom in on the actual guy, please, because I've seen the video of how happy he is. Look at this, standing up. And it keeps going and going and going. Think how absurd this is. They're cheering a Nazi.
His name is Yaroslav Hunka. And I was going to say he's in the gallery, but I think you beat me to that. But I'm very proud to say that he is from North Bay and from my riding of Nipissing-Temiskaming. He's a Ukrainian hero, a Canadian hero, and we thank him for all his service. Thank you.
It's just, I mean, I will stand up for him again. Double time on the Nazi. Like the real Nazi. Wore the uniform. Fought against the Russians. So I guess this is just a shot of the Parliament. They don't show him up there in the I believe it's in the front row. Here he is right here. There he is. Yep, right there. Boom. Thank you. So, in the dark cartoon, here's what Trudeau had to say about it. And it's absolutely, this is just as stunning as anything else in this dark cartoon that we live in. That's all I can say about it.
Obviously, it's extremely upsetting that this happened. The speaker has acknowledged his mistake and has apologized. But this is something that is deeply embarrassing to the Parliament of Canada and by extension to all Canadians. I think particularly of Jewish MPs and all members of the Jewish community across the country who are commemorating Yom Kippur today. I think.
Yeah, that's right. They did do it on Yom Kippur. It's funny. I was my nieces were off yesterday. They were contacting me. I'm like, do you not have school today? They're like, no, school's off. And then I had to ask somebody else who had their kid off. Was just like, oh, Yom Kippur. So on Yom Kippur, they gave not once but twice a standing ovation to a Nazi in 2023. With Zelensky there with this guy.
It's going to be really important that all of us push back against Russian propaganda, Russian disinformation, and continue our steadfast and unequivocal support for Ukraine, as we did last week with announcing further measures to stand with Ukraine in Russia's illegal war against it.
He brought up Russian propaganda in the same breath of Sorry that we gave a standing ovation and acknowledgement to a living Nazi of 98 years old and used it to try to propagate the current war we're waging against Russia. Wow. Wow. One more break right here before we go into the final segment of the first hour. Remember, the second hour is over at RVMRumble.com, and we will be back after this word from our sponsor.
Attention Americans, breaking news. Biden's dangerous plan for a digital dollar is underway. Don't be fooled. It won't benefit you. Take action now. The Federal Reserve phased deployment of FedNow began on July 1st, 2023. Be prepared. This may catch many off guard. Your hard-earned assets are in jeopardy. But there's a simple legal tax loophole to opt out of the digital dollar. Reach out to American Alternative Assets for a free wealth protection guide and discover how to safeguard your wealth with gold and silver IRAs against a failing dollar and volatile markets. Visit protectfrombiden.com. This invaluable guide provides precise steps to transfer your IRA or 401k into precious metals without any tax consequences. Be smart. Don't let Biden force you into using the government's new digital dollar. Visit protectfrombiden.com to get your free guide and get started. Again, that's protectfrombiden.com.
All right, final segment of the first hour. Let's see what we got here. The New York City Police Department started because of rich people fears of the poor. Listen, I always think we need police. In fact, I know we need police. We need law enforcement. I made the point yesterday. We needed the sheriffs and the deputies, we need some kind of law enforcement. I'd like it to be human-based. Just me. Let's see. Beyond embarrassing up here. Long Island audits showing us the insane corruption in Nassau County. You betcha there's insane corruption in Nassau County. I was trying to explain Long Island to somebody the other day because we were at a Tim Dillon show. He was from Long Island. I've spent some time in Long Island, been to some weddings in Long Island, visited some girls I've dated in Long Island, and I hate Long Island. The weddings have been nice. Usually they're far enough in the country and at some beautiful location where it's like, wow, the people for the most part are terrible. It is one of those places where everything is about status. And especially when you're in the New York City system, the dream is to be able to get a house on Long Island and move out of the city. That's how you know you've really made it and you're a success. But yeah, New York politics in general, extremely corrupt. Extremely. That's true in the New Yorkers of the time, and Americans in general didn't even want cops. And even once they were around, they weren't allowed weapons. Yeah, that changed quickly. Let's see. Voting is the biggest magic trick the elites played on society. I'd love to see Jason talk about the Black Pope. No one ever does. Well, I've talked about the Black Pope before. I wasn't Francis getting all pissed off at Macron the other day. That was kind of funny. Yeah, they select a Black Pope. The Vatican's not good. I don't think they control the world, but they certainly have a large sway over especially a religious sect of the population. It seems like they have some roots in, I know people talk about the Knights Templar or Freemasonry and, where it goes from there, who knows? But I'm not even sure who the Black Pope is right now. Who is the Black Pope? Let's see. Who's the Black Pope? Boom. Let's see. For the Black Pope. No, I don't want that. Let's see. Who is? Is Google not going to tell me? That'll be disappointing. Not that they could do it. Let's see. No, that's the Pope. Let's go to DuckDuckGo, because I guess you can't find that on Google. I guess that's in the news. So let's go to all. Black Pope is the unofficial designation given to the position of Superior General of the Order of the Jesuits. So who is the Superior General of the Order of the Jesuits. We'll do that. We'll do it live. So you're getting your wish, buddy. Current, boom. Who is he? So it's Arturo Sosa is the 31st current Superior General. This was back in 2016. So there he is right there. There's the Black Pope, everybody. We did it. We talked about the Jesuits today. Hope you're happy. Okay. Let's keep going on. They eat cat food. They won't even eat jumbo shrimp. They do love sweets, but I don't give them much. Guessing that's a comment on some Petskis and Hutch. Let's see. Voting has always been a game. Try the fruits. Nope, we're not doing that one. Society has Stockholm Syndrome to these false idols. Look, I think voting is a good thing. I think a constitutional republic based in democratic values is a good thing. We need accountability with that. We need to be able to audit these systems. I know that you're using it in reference to the beginning of the show when I was talking about voting blocks and the appearance, etc. But now there's no chain of custody. Almost every segment of it is gamed. We got machines with proprietary software. All of that is super bananas, bad news, brown. Period. Yes, the old golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rules. Let's see. People who feel they need to rely on the advice of experts instead of engaging in adult behavior will be rendered unto chattel. Let's see. Is that it? I was going to say we got to have a jump somewhere. Let's go back up. Anything good? War criminals unite. Everybody here watch The Minds of Men by TrueStream Media. I believe it is a must watch. It is, I agree. Almost 4 hours long. Big time must watch. Have to agree there. Do I want to go to a video before the end of the first segment? Remember, second segment, everybody. Second hour. It's going to be over at rvmrumble.com. Let's see. Canada was integral to the evil. Let's see. McGill University. That's where you can find some of the MK Ultra projects over at McGill up in Canada. Because, again, they were more than just the United States. We have our 96-year-old Nazi as well. We call him Sleepy Joe. Oh, man. Let's see. Mocking the victim to gaslight. Let's see. He was in volunteer SS brigade. He opted in to being a Nazi. Lovely. Can't listen to Trudeau. Yeah, he was even SSS, so a super Nazi. Just unbelievable. I'm so pleased people have seen it. They do such good work. Keeps talking about TrueStream Media's Minds of Men. Totally great work. All right, let's see. Let's go to a video. Let's go to a primo here. Talking about chain of custody and the conflict in Ukraine with Pasta Jardula of the Convo Couch and now the stand-in host over at the Jimmy Dore Show.
When it comes to foreign policy, I mean, this whole Ukrainian war, I don't care with Elizabeth Warren and Lindsey Graham and Dick Blumenthal showing up, even if they're Democrats, 2 of the 3 of them, the people in America aren't buying it. The majority of us don't want to do this anymore. We want nothing to do with Ukraine. And there's some of us that even understand that it was us who pushed for this proxy war, that it was us who caused this. It's the American empire. And we're sick and tired of it.
We're running it. That's the thing. We're sitting here acting like there's that's the thing that drives me nuts. I watched Mike Pence in that debate saying we need to allow them to fight them over there so we don't have to lose soldiers. We're already running it over there. We already have our people don't understand that during the war of terror, one of the things that we did create as a proxy network outside of all nation states were these mercenary groups. Yes, Blackwater is popular, but there are a dozen like them. Oak Grove is another. They're for hire. And the vast majority of them, are U.S. military and intelligence. And then you have other flavors of intelligence like Black Cube that deal with the Israelis and the IDF. These things are real, and they're being utilized over there. I don't know if you saw it. UN General Assembly's running right now. And did you see what they said to the Albanian moderator said to the Russian Federation guy? Yeah.
No.
Oh my God, dude. It's cartoon level. So the Russian Federation didn't want Zelensky to speak. They're like, this is ridiculous that you're giving this guy a platform on this so you can warmonger against us. So the Albanian guy goes, well, if you don't want him to speak, just call off the war right now and he won't enter the podium. Like the guy from the Russian Federation.
Oh, Jesus. Why, you don't want to hear Zelensky talk about climate change?
And that's the other thing. These people are, we played some of the Joe Biden speech that got a big applause. He can barely talk. Like he was trying to say day one pasta since day one of my administration.
Yeah, I know.
Since one day. No clue what's going on. None.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah. And that just makes me think, how far are they going to push this with these guys? You know what I'm saying? We all know who Joe Biden is. He's not fit for office, let alone fit to be reelected. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I'm wondering where we're at as a nation. Everything seems so distraught. Everything seems so just out of whack. The people are so, duped and blindfolded and, I don't know. It's so crazy when you think about it. The fact that they can push a guy forward like Sleepy Joe Biden as an actual candidate, as an actual person fit to lead this country. It's mind-blowing at this point.
It is. It's again, that's why it's like the dark. That's something we had the conversation of prior to that 2020 election. I couldn't believe that they picked him as the nominee. If you go back to our
they picked him, not the people, though. That's the thing, not us.
I know the people. Listen, I thought they were going to sell us on a grandma oatmeal. Elizabeth Warren, she checked a lot of boxes. Then I was very frightened of a Kamala Harris and Cory Booker ticket. They're the kind of vicious, terrible, progressive establishment types they would have loved to have. I was just watching 300 Joe up there and going, there's no way. And then one by one, they started falling off. And they just and like one of the last ones to go was like the Warren Klobuchar arm. I never thought Klobuchar was a Klobuchar, whatever. I didn't think she was a serious candidate. But at the same time, there were no serious candidates up there other than Tulsi Gabbard, who I think out of all the debates, they gave a combined total of like 17 minutes to.
Yeah. But she made the best out of those 17 minutes, did she not?
She did.
Destroyed Kamala Harris's candidacy in one little, 2 quick sentences. It's a boom! Just took her right out. It was pretty awesome.
It was pretty awesome.
It is. But that's the thing. With the election system, you really don't have to create a voter. You just have to create a ballot now. You know what I'm saying? There's no chain of custody on these ballots whatsoever. Every single country I've been to in Latin America, when I've witnessed their election, there's a strong chain of custody. Most times, the chain of custody starts at the door because there's no mail-in ballots. There's no drop boxes. There's no days after of counting or days before where they can come in. It's that day you must show up with ID. In Latin America, ladies and gentlemen, you show up at your designated spot with ID. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes to vote. Maybe it might take 15 minutes if it's a little bit jammed up in some areas. But you get to vote. The chain of custody starts at the door. When you go to your spot, you have all the representatives from the different party at that table. Sometimes they'll call it a mesa, which is Spanish for table. They'll have 400 ballots there. And out of how many votes they had, if they have 250 people vote, they need to have 150 ballots left over. That's open to the public, that you can see that process the whole time. And at the very end, 7 o'clock comes, they close the doors so nobody can come back in, but you can see and you can stand from a distance. They open up the box, they take out the ballots, they count them right in front of you. So there's a chain of custody. And when I say chain of custody, I'm not saying in the purview of a company like they say in Arizona, oh, it's in the chain of custody the whole time. No, it's not. Chain of custody means in the purview and the eyes of the citizens. And if you have an election like that, it's very, very hard to cheat. You know what I'm saying? It's the people actually get representative democracy in places like Nicaragua, which is a socialist country that has more democratic values than we do. We don't have that here. So that's the really sinister, nefarious part about our elections is not only do they gain the system, but then they make the citizens think that this was the actual general consensus. So they go along with it. Well, if that's what the people wanted, Jason, even though it's not my choice and I didn't see it happening, I guess we have to accept Joe Biden because that's what the people want.
Get the whole story on Red Voice Media Premium using the link below, completely uncensored and ad-free.
If you're like me and you want to be prepared for the unexpected.
That's where the wellness company's emergency medical kit comes
Over
in.
40% of Americans say that they would avoid a doctor or a hospital unless it was a catastrophic situation.
Medical emergency kits with...
The kit contains 8 potentially life-saving medications for you to keep on hand in the event of natural disasters, supply chain shortages, medical emergencies, or like an apocalyptic situation. These are the actual medications that you would need in the event of certain situations. So they've got emergency antibiotics, antivirals, antiparasitics.
All right, second hour about to pop off uncensored style with some Bill Gates and a whole lot more over at rvmrumble.com. So YouTube,